Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Daddy Knows Best. My name is Josh Vasquez, and I'm here with Mr. Manny Santiago. Say hi, Manny.
Hey, how you doing, Josh?
I'm not doing too well. I've got Tharsis.
Oh, you got a bad case of Tharsis.
I got a bad case of Tharsis, man. Do you know what Tharsis is?
No, but I'm pretty sure you're about to show me.
I am about to show you. I'm about to show you Tharsis, and the only reason why I sound so happy right now is because I've stopped playing Tharsis. I've beaten Tharsis, if you can believe that. Tharsis is the game that came out on Steam January 11th of this year. So I think you could also get it on PS4. So, Tharsis.
So what's the price on this game right now?
So Tharsis is about $11 to $12 on Steam. This is a hard game. I don't know if have you heard anything about this game?
Yeah. Pretty much the reviews that I read is that it's all based on luck, but I don't know if there's any truth on that. So what type of game is this?
It's basically a turn-based strategy game, okay, and it's a dice game. So if you've ever played any game played with dice, you can say that your luck is out of complete random.
You've played 20 times and haven't beat it once.
I played 20 times up to this point and I hadn't beat it once. So this is basically the layout of the game. You pick your crew. Okay, you got these strapping young people ready to go to Mars. Okay, that's where you're going. You're on your way to Mars. You know what? Let's just watch the intro cinematic, because this is all the story you're gonna get, and you get kind of cutscenes at some point throughout the game. But this is basically how they tell the story.
That guy got killed.
How can we go on?
Okay, so this is Tharsis. Welcome to the suck. Okay, so at the beginning of the game, you pick your 4 people. Okay, each person has a perk, and as you can tell under their names, there's a lot going on the screen. So I'm just gonna run you through it here. Okay, so you have the pictures of your people that you've chosen. Okay, right under them are the amount of dice that each person has, and that varies by turn. Okay, underneath that, where it says mechanic, specialist, doctor, and captain, those basically align with your buffs. Okay, so if the doctor's in the same module as a specialist, the little plus sign gives the specialist an extra life bar. Their life bar is indicated by the bars that's on the right of the portrait of the player's face. Okay? So you got the health on the right, you got the dice that each person has on the bottom, indicated by those white squares, and you got a stressometer, which is on the left side, indicated by that little green bar. Okay? So this is how you play. This is you take your turns. Okay? We are in a module that's going through some shit. It needs 27 repair, and this person only has 1 die. So you roll the 1 die. You have different places you can put it. You can put it either into the class specific, you can put it towards the repair of the module, or you can put it towards the stress, to bring down somebody's stress. So as I'm electing here, I'm putting the 5 into the repair, because obviously we're not going to get to repair this, but each person can put their dice roll into the repairing of a specific module. Once your turn is over, that's it. So as you can see here, this individual has more dice, so we can actually pump more into the repair if we want to. We can hold the dice and roll again, which is what I'm going to do. And here we go. Okay, so you can see in the lower left hand corner we have something called the research projects. The amount of dice you put in there has to align with a specific number on the dice, so 1 through 5, obviously. If you get 3, you can get more health kits for your people, just in case you take some damage, and that changes. So every time you use one, then another one comes up at random. So this is basically the game. I mean, there's a lot to take in, but your whole goal is to make it through 10 weeks of this and get to Mars. Okay. Every turn is over when every person on your crew has rolled their dice, either researching projects, making sure that the modules are fixed. Like I said, you could put multiple people in modules. We got 2 people in this module right now trying to fix it. But that's basically it. That's the gist of the game. I mean, so you see right now I'm deploying myself into basically the habitat of the the ship that we have here. Okay, this habitat basically concerns itself with food. Food equals dice. So after everybody goes, we'll get to there in just a minute. But after everybody goes, the food, you can either put the food into one of your the people that you have, and the food gives you 3 dice. So on your next go around, you have 3 more dice, because after every turn you lose 1 die. So as you can see here, we're finishing up our turn. We weren't able to fix this module, so now because it's our end of our turn, we lose 1 food. Okay, I'm not gonna go through the story stuff because there's people out there that probably still want to play the game, because this game is relatively new. So we'll get to that. So here you get to choose. You either get +1 dice for all your crew members, but every crew member loses 1 life, or you can do 2 health for those specific characters, but everybody on your squad loses 1 dice. And you can't lose more than 1 die. So if one person has 1 die, they can only stay with 1 die. You can't have no dice. And this is it. Before every turn, some shit happens, and now you got to go fix it. So depending on how well you made your choices will dictate how well you do on the next go around. But there's one major caveat. It's all based on a random number generator. So the random number generator basically dictates if you win or lose. So in this sense, I would say in this run, we're doing quite all right. I mean, we're about to repair the habitatchery, or whatever, the greenhouse as they call it. So we repair this place, and we're going to roll a die. Oh, we got a 3. What can we do with a 3? Nothing. So we're going to throw it into research projects. And now we got... Go ahead.
So I was going to ask you, how did you feel as you were playing this game? Like, did you feel like you were actually, like, having some fun as you were playing? Did you feel like you had any control at all at what you were doing? Or
so here's the thing: the game is very misleading in the early parts of the game, because as soon as you start out, you're doing pretty well. Everybody has decent amount of health. Everybody has a good number of dice that you can use to repair stuff. So you're feeling good. You know, whatever you roll, you can roll 15 with 1 character, and that'll be enough to fix 1 module, and then you still have 3 other characters you could pump into the other one. So I would say in the beginning parts of the game, if you're in a good spot if all your modules are repaired, and you even have enough dice to put in to other modules, like to repair your ship, which we'll get into that in a minute. But I feel good in the early parts of the game because you're doing all right. But as the game goes on, you just realize that you've probably spent 20 minutes for no reason, because the random number generator is going to be what ultimately kills you here. So now we have 2 things going on simultaneously. We have the detriment to the ship, which is after every turn something happens to the ship. If you weren't able to repair your ship, then what happens is in the upper left hand corner where you see the ship status, you have 2 bars. The white bar is your current health of your ship. The bottom bar indicates the impending damage to your ship if you don't fix all your modules. So now we just fix all the modules. Nothing bad is going to happen to the ship for this roll. Okay, so now we have options. We can either put some into the health recovery, which we just did. So now that character is full health. It only affects 1 character. We could roll again and see if we get something that we could put somewhere, but no, we can't. We can't put it down there, so we roll again. So we roll a 6. We put it down into our research projects, and we can either hold them there or we can use them. We have 3, so we're doing pretty good. We're not going to take no damage, moving right along. So this is it. After every turn, you have to make a choice. You can't just skip the screen. So you have to, something good and something bad is always going to happen. So you can either do 1 food, which will give you automatically 3 dice, but it also costs them their die, or you can give +1 health for all your crew members, but those individual crew members will lose 1 dice. But since the doctor has low life, she can't do it because she'll end up dying. So we have choices to make here. We can't skip out of the screen. We have to make a choice. So now the doctor goes up 1 health, but as you can see, we're not doing really good with our dice.
So are you able to save in between deployments?
That's a great question. But this is Tharsis. I have Tharsis. So no, you cannot save. You go and you're done. Actually, you can quit out of the game at this screen. It'll save your progress, but it just keeps you where you're at, basically. So you can always continue on with, say, if I wanted to exit now the screen, I can, and I'll just come back to exactly where I am next time. So now we have different indicators now next to the repair. So up in the upper left-hand corner where you see injury and stasis, if I roll any of those two numbers, something bad will happen. But if I have an assist, that will happen. It'll basically block the stasis. Stasis basically locks in the die to whatever number it is, and the injury costs whoever is rolling the dice 1 health bar.
Okay.
I've been in situations where I've been in a module that had an injury factor where I've rolled multiple, like you said, like it says there, one. I've rolled multiple ones and have killed my people in one roll of the dice. So you notice stasis is locking into 2. I can't roll. I can't basically do anything, but so I just threw it into repair.
And do you feel that as you're playing this game, do you feel that you can play in short spurts and get something out of it?
So yeah, I mean, I've since beaten this game, and it was, like I said, completely random. I had basically very little control over what was going on, other than properly placing my die into places where it would benefit me and the ship. But this is a game that you want to play maybe right before you go to bed. I mean, it doesn't take too long. I mean, each game lasts about maybe 10 to 15, 20 minutes. So in that regard, you can play this game in short spurts. But it all depends on how much of a glutton you are for pain, because this game is relentless. It doesn't care if you made all the right moves in the beginning of the game. It just kind of throws all these things at you, and basically after that turn, I was in bad shape because now none of my people have dice. They all have just 1, which really doesn't do anything at this part of the game, and we still have 7 weeks left to go to Mars.
It's not looking good.
It is not looking good for my crew here, and the grimaces on their faces definitely see that. So now we have this thing called cannibalism. Everybody knows what cannibalism is, so I won't get into that. But basically, you sacrifice stress in order to give your people extra dice by eating other players. These players have died on the ship before the whole game started, so you're not basically killing any of your crew member yet.
Oh, so you can kill somebody from your
You absolutely can. I think if you get past week 4, 6 or 5, they give you the option to kill a crew member, harvest their food to give your other surviving members of your crew more dice. As you can see, every time you choose the cannibal option, your dice turn this red and dripping blood and all over the place. So yeah, this is not a good game, and I think we're coming to the portion of the game where it's not looking good for the crew of the SS Josh. So the ship damage, we have enough to repair the ship, but we don't have much to do anything else because that stasis is really messing me up here. I can choose to roll again for a higher number, but I'm not going to risk it because I might get injured. So I was able to fix that module. So in kind of preparation to, there are damages to the ship that don't cause ship damage to the health bar, but they still play a significant role in the ability for you to utilize each parts of the ship's basically a buff. As we'll go into this module right here, you can see on the right hand corner it says ship repair. You have to roll 2 or more of the same die. Like you see here, I have 2 1s. I can pump those into ship repair to give my ship 2 more health bars. So you can see those 2 blips on the bottom of the second dice on the ship repair. Those 2 blips will go up into the left hand corner and give my ship 2 more slices of health, which you'll see here. So that goes up. So now what that basically means is at the end of this turn, I will not lose the ship because the impending damage is not more than the ship's health.
So there's definitely a lot of planning that goes into what you, and whatever you do have control on or of, there's some planning that goes into it.
Oh yeah, and that's what makes the game frustrating. That makes the game frustrating because you can plan your ass off, and you can do as much as you can to prevent your ship from exploding or from your crew members to die, but it's all dependent on a random number generator.
I got you. Do you feel that this is a game you would ever play around your daughter? Do you
I would.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would much rather play a board game. I would rather play dice with her, simply because the game mechanics on here are, I would say they're very complicated. They're very complex. It's hard. It would be hard to her to explain to her why people are eating other people on a spaceship. I would have to jump into the realm of cannibalism, and I don't think that's appropriate for a 2-year-old just yet in her life.
Do you feel like this game is fun to watch? Like, if I were playing this right now, would you be having any fun at all?
Well, let me ask you this. You got this footage before we started this episode. How did you feel when you were watching me play this game?
I got frustrated because just the sheer amount of things that could go wrong were just not something that I was looking forward to. I was like, I wouldn't play this game. I would be miserable.
Yeah, it's not a fun game to watch because if you're following the moves and if you're following, where the player is putting their dice in, you can actually predict at what point the game will, basically the player will lose. And this is a really complex game on the surface, and it's a great game, but there's just one thing that is just, it's irreprehensible because you're making all these decisions. You're doing as much as you can. You're basically trying to patch up a sinking ship, and your success is basically determined on the roll of the dice, and that's at its sheer just basic understanding. So all this planning, all this strategical, should I put my dice here? Should I kill this guy? Should I not kill this guy? It all feeds into it, and you just keep getting pummeled, and the numbers just keep getting higher. Like, you notice after every turn, I mean, look at that hull breach, 30.
30. Oh my god. Yeah.
So now I'm right now I'm at the point where I'm just, what do I do here? Do I fix the 30 with all those stasis blue dice there, or do I try to get the lower one at 19 or hit the 22? So I have really no idea what I'm doing. You could tell by the way I want to pump the person that has the most amount of dice into the higher numbers, because there's just a higher chance of it just whittling that number down to where it's more manageable for the people who don't have a lot of dice.
Is there like a I guess an impending damage or damage to the ship that you can live with and just say like, well, I'm just not gonna fix this because it's really not, it doesn't need to be fixed right now?
Yes, and that's how I was able to win my first round in Tharsis, probably my first and only. But I was able to mitigate what are the most important pieces to fix versus the not so important pieces. So there are two impending damages that don't cause direct damage to the ship, okay, or to you as a matter of fact, but they do cause damage in other places. So let's say, for example, there's a module that is going to be damaged, like you see here where the number 12 is PCA errors. That won't give direct damage to the ship, but it's going to cost every person on my squad 1 dice. So the longer I have that there, every turn that I don't fix that, it's going to minus 1 dice from my crew, which, as you can see, the dice are the most important part of the game. There are also damages that do damages directly to the health of each person on your team. So you can leave those as long as you have crew members, but the longer you keep them without fixing the problem, it'll just keep whittling down at their health bar. So you have to be really careful in the early parts of the game, especially when you're rolling your dice in the modules that don't need fixing, when you could put stuff into, like over here where it says regain dice. If you put one there, it'll give you 2 more dice. If you put one there that also is the same number as the one you put before it, then you'll get 4 dice. So that'll help you out in the long run, but that's also assuming that you don't have any impending damage to your ship. So as you can see here, I'm doing pretty good health wise, and but like I said, I'm just trying to fix the leaking portions of the ship. I mean, I have 2 crew members in this portion. The assists help out a lot. I caution anybody who goes to play this game to really don't sleep on the assist portion, because those are going to help you out in the later parts of the game where you might have people on your squad that have a lot of dice, but because of those things like injury and stasis, the assist will prevent you from dying. And right there, I wasn't able to fix my ship in time, so I just kind of rolled the dice and I kind of lost. No, I didn't kind of lose. I actually did lose.
Well, it fell apart. Turn survived 5. Oh, you only have 5 more days. Human meals minus 60. Oh my god.
This game is relentless. I mean, this game is really, really relentless. I caution anybody who's going to play this game who has high blood pressure to maybe stay away from it until you're in a better spot physically and mentally. That is Tharsis for PC, Mac, and PS4. Well, thank you for tuning in on Daddy Knows Best. Stay tuned for more videos, articles, and video game related content on thegamermind.com. Take care. Keep gaming. Thanks, Manny.
All right, thanks.